is that hard to say? Baby, I love you. Hi, welcome back to Faith and Familia. So after 2 failed implantations, our hearts were broken, but we knew we kind of had to just chill for a while. Bought our home in Calabasas. Moved in, nice, beautiful, gated community. The day we moved in, the shutdown happened due to COVID and the pandemic. So it was just us in this big old house, and we kind of did a couple little renovation projects and that sort of thing, but we really took that time to say, hey, let's really be intentional about trying to have a baby naturally. And we talked to our doctor about that, remotely, of course. And they said, definitely try. All the work you had done for the second implantation proved that you were good to go.
Pretty much we were just like, well, it's just Iz and I here at this house. Let's just relax. Like, let's just see what happens.
Mother's Day of 2020, she said to me, I think I'm late. It's been a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. It's been a few weeks at that point.
We Instacarted, like, you know, those, we actually, because nobody was going to stores, we actually used one of the apps that like delivers stuff like groceries and stuff. And in that grocery drugstore run, I actually didn't tell you, and I just added pregnancy tests to it. And so I took the test. When I tell you, literally looking at it and going, I know
it's gonna be negative.
It's gonna be negative. Like I know it. But I had felt like a little crampy and sleepy and a little bloated, and I was just like, and I'm late. Let's just see what happens. You just were like, just in case. Just in case, let me film it, just in case. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Because we had been watching our friend's fertility journey at that time.
Yes. Shout out to Desi Perkins.
Yes, we love Desi and Steven.
Yeah, Desi was the first person that I watched. I'm going to be honest, I literally was hitting her like, I don't know how you filmed. I didn't think I was strong enough to ever talk about it, but here we are. After I took the test, I kind of came back in the bed, like had it just sitting there, and you wait, and it blinks, and it blinks, and this is what happened.
Positive thing, right?
Pregnancy test, babe. That's what that
thing was the word.
We just woke up, by the way.
So naturally, we both just
I was in shock,
sobbed and cried and thanked God. And
I actually didn't initially have that reaction, though. Initially,
my reaction was freaking crazy.
I was like, no, like that's not real. Like, no, there's something, like this can't be. Like, I actually was in denial, and I don't think I allowed myself initially to get excited about it because of all the disappointments I'd already had. So I literally was like, let me not get excited, and instead let me just like have a moment. And then when I saw your reaction, then I got super emotional. Of course, after having this incredible moment, I'm like, I have to call Lana. So I call Lana, and this was Lana's reaction in that moment.
FaceTime.
Did I wake you?
No, I haven't slept.
Okay,
at all?
No, what happened? You guys okay?
No, we need to talk to you.
What?
Take the FaceTime.
Take the FaceTime.
What? Hello?
We feel that your work has been under par lately.
Shut up.
And we're just really, we need to confront this.
Okay.
Have you been embezzling money from Lavu?
Yeah.
But we appreciate...
What the f*** are you calling me at 7 a.m. for? You better be good news.
We appreciate your honesty.
Come on, man. The money goes straight to your account.
So I felt that I should be honest with you.
Shut the f*** up. Oh my God. Dude.
I took it this morning.
Bible, that's real.
Bible, I took it this morning. Like right now, my first morning's pee. They said you have to do the first morning's pee.
Dude, my heart is racing.
I don't know if it's for real though.
Of course it's for real. So
You know how much I cried yesterday?
same.
Me too. Look at my thing. It has all my makeup on it. You don't cry. Why are you crying?
Because I'm happy for you. Oh my god.
I'm happy too. Can you believe it?
That is crazy.
Lana,
And I'm shaking.
let me tell you about the omens, Lana.
I cried all day yesterday, Lana. This is my
I don't think
my
I've
mascara
cried
and my
so much in
foundation
life.
because I kept doing like this. From there, I obviously say I have to call my mom. And crazy enough, my mom and my whole family were getting in an RV like a week or so from then.
A few days after that, yeah.
Few days after that, and they were going to actually be coming to our house in California. Everyone had been telling me, trust me, like your miracle is going to happen when it's supposed to happen. Like this will be the best Mother's Day surprise for her ever. I call my mom, and here was her reaction. I was really, 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 really sad because it was Mother's Day and I wasn't pregnant. Then I told Israel, remember you ordered those clear blue early things? Well, I Googled online and it said that I could take one now, but we didn't have the pregnancy test. Amazon doesn't deliver on Sundays. And Israel checked his app and it said it's delivering today at 6 o'clock. It was what, 6:30?
It was a little bit before 6.
A little bit before 6. So he walked outside and he literally walked outside. And as he's walking outside, the white car pulls up. And it was the person with literally nothing else was delivered, just the pregnancy test. Like not all the other things we ordered. But I was scared to take it yesterday. And it said that your most accurate testing is in the morning. So I took it and it says pregnant.
Thank you, Jesus.
Crazy, right? I keep looking at it. I'm like, that can't be real. This morning I sat with Israel. I said, this can't be right. I have to be honest, in that moment, I was actually shocked at how like chill she was. Just saying, speaking of becoming a mother, I think that there is definitely like a mom spidey sense.
I gotta be honest, I was so excited and hopeful and positive and just knew
couldn't believe it.
I just knew this is it. I can't, I remember us praying going, God, we're so sorry that we
didn't
doubted
trust you.
this possibility. You know what I mean?
So here I was being like super intentional. I would wake up in the morning, I'd pray for the baby. I would pray. Obviously we didn't know what the sex of that baby was because it was natural.
Yeah.
I just remember like praying over my baby, waking up in the morning, having a specific worship playlist. I would listen to the song and like hold my belly and like praise God. And remember, it was so weird because like I found out I was pregnant and I feel extra bloated and you suddenly don't hold your belly in anymore and you're like, I see a little bump. You know, it was obviously too soon for that, but I felt it, I saw it, I experienced that in the most beautiful way at that time. And my family ended up coming to LA about 10 days later. And I remember taking a test again the day before they got there to surprise them and have like a brand new one. And I was gonna film it and do this whole surprise. And the test read not pregnant.
Being in church my whole life, right? And you have too, like, I was angry with God and I told God, I don't understand, like, and I was screaming at God. Like, I've had people tell me this, like, passionately, and I was mad at God and I woke up and I told him, and that was always so foreign to me growing up, like, but God woke us up this morning. Like, I had nothing to do with waking up on my own. It was all him. So, like, when this happened naturally, I was like, okay, God, I trust you completely. You're right, you know. And then when we got the not pregnant 9 days later or whatever, I walked outside and I was like, listen, I promise you I'm not asking for anything. I'm not asking for anything. Just this. And if you won't do it for me, please do it for her. Like, she's amazing, and look how excited she is, and she's gonna be the best mom in the world. Like, and I had those conversations with God with like real heavy tears just pouring out of my eyes and just going, God, this is not fair. Why do you give babies to people that don't want them? She wants a child, and she's going to be amazing, and this child is gonna hit the lottery of family sweepstakes of all time. Like, this is not fair. And these would be my prayers and conversations with God every day. It was a very strange and difficult time for me, because it was the first time that I allowed myself to sort of cross that threshold of like, God, I'm going to stop short of saying I'm mad at you, but yo, explain yourself, please, because I don't get this.
That's really honest and so real. And there are so many questions that we ask. I mean, there's so much that's unexplained, and that's what faith is. That is what believing is. And that even though we may not know or not understand, I don't know why in this journey I've always still felt hopeful, even when I felt hopeless. We ended up going to the doctor.
And just trying to get an explanation and understanding.
And absolutely finding out that, yes, we did miscarry again. The doctors really were just now saying, here's some other options you can try. Mm-hmm. Obviously got pregnant naturally.
It means you can.
Yeah, which also means, have we ever tried an IUI?
First of all, we just really love each other. So there's that. We can't keep our hands off each other. There's that. And she was ovulating, so we're like, you know, the feeling was right. The moon was just hanging just right.
Whatever. We randomly were told, like I didn't know that I was ovulating. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. We just naturally had sex.
Oh, okay.
Then I had a doctor's appointment, and at the doctor's appointment, they're like, you're ovulating today. I know your husband's in the car waiting downstairs. Can you get him to come up?
Oh, that's right. She calls me like, come up now.
Come up now. They're saying you have to...
You have to deliver...
Do your business and give it to us right now because I'm ovulating. Now, normally, if you have these kinds of things scheduled, they tell you shouldn't have sex for like a certain amount of days,
6 or 7
so
days.
that you can store up your semen and that it will be more powerful because you haven't used it in a while. So in this case, we literally had just had sex the night before, and when I came in for my doctor's appointment, they're like, you're ovulating.
Let's go.
Let's go. Tell him to come upstairs from the car. And again, we're during COVID, so he couldn't come up to my appointment, so he would come, just wait in the car and wait for me, and they're like, nope, now he's a patient, he needs to come up. So you now had an appointment too. And
so I'm going to try and explain this delicately, but like
in the most PG way.
Yeah, very family-friendly way. So I have to give a specimen. That's the best way I could say it, right? And I did. Yeah, I did. And got in the car and drove away and waited, you know, to hear, hey, we were able to fertilize. This is good to go.
We actually went to eat.
Yeah. They called in the middle of that lunch and said, can he come back, please? We need more. After a while, I'm like, this is not working. And I call her, like, I literally called her. And I was like, I'm so frustrated because this is not working. One,
it's just not your vibe.
It's not the vibe at all. It never has been my vibe. I know other people have a different story. That's never been my vibe. But I'm like, I'm doing it for the baby. Let's go. And
you actually called me and you're give me some encouragement. You were like, babe,
talk
can you
dirty
talk
to me, like whatever.
Something. But he's like, ugh.
And I literally finally was like, babe, I got nothing left today to give.
You got it all for
I
me
made all my deposits.
So we pretty much were like, we're going to work with what we got. And so I got the IUI, which in itself is kind of bizarre and strange, but for the cause. And you kind of lay there, they put the semen inside of you, and you kind of just sit and wait. And I sat and I waited. I remember waiting and getting the test and it being negative. So we did not get pregnant from IUI. Once again, I was super disappointed. And I'll never forget the doctor coming in and having like a really difficult conversation with us. And it was, Adrian, you've implanted your embryos that tested to be perfect and they did not stick, they did not work. Have you guys considered surrogacy? And I'm not gonna lie, initially I was like, what?
No. Yeah.
No, like that's not an option. Like, what else can I do? And he kind of kept saying, like, I personally, my medical opinion is your best option would be
With your
to
last...
look into a surrogate for your last embryo, specifically because I only had my one embryo left. We kept looking into possibly doing cycles, but a lot of the times I didn't even have follicles to stimulate. So I would go in for doctor's appointments and they'd look and they'd be like, there's really nothing here for us to stimulate. It's not a good month. It's not a good month to do another IVF cycle. And so he's like, you tried IUI, would you consider surrogacy?
Our initial reaction, both of us, to that was, that's not going to happen. Either God's going to give us a baby naturally, or I guess we're done with this part of the experiment. Because that would have been our
It was just figuring it out.
fifth time around
Yeah.
at that point.
So we're just like trying to figure it out. And I remember at this point doing my own research, talking to the doctor again, and him pretty much explaining to me, it is your baby. It is your embryo. I always liked this this analogy. He was like, listen, I know it's not what you imagined. It's not what you expected for your family planning journey to look like, but this baby is yours. Like, it might sound so foreign and so different. And he pretty much said,
He basically said, you go to the grocery store, you get all the ingredients for this cake that only you can make. Mm-hmm. Like, it's your recipe, it's your thing. Everything is good. You do all the mixing. Everything is right.
And you make this perfect cake batter. And it is your cake batter that you made at home. And then you go to put the cake in the oven. And you realize
The oven doesn't work.
the oven's not working. You go next door to your neighbor.
And borrow their oven.
And you say, hi, can I borrow your oven? And let's say they say, absolutely, come on in, you can borrow my oven. When that cake is finished being baked, whose cake is it? And I was like, it's my cake. Does it suddenly become that neighbor's cake because you used their oven to make it? I said, no, it's my cake. And I don't know why, as simple and stupid as that may sound, it shifted my perspective. And I was like, it's a great point. I've heard people say you never know what you're going to do until you are in that situation. And had you told me, would you consider surrogacy 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I'd have been like, absolutely not. I want to carry my baby. I want to take maternity photos. I want my husband to see me carrying my baby and just like how sexy that is. My body was intended to do this. I would argue that I'm Latina. If you look at me, I'll get pregnant, and all the stereotypes. And my mom got pregnant so easily, and she gave birth to both my sister and I. Like, these are the things you brag about. She gave birth to my sister and I with no epidural, completely natural, vaginally, and all these great things. My sister has 2 children. She's never had this issue. Mm-hmm. And again, I've got these hips. They were intended for childbirth. And I would have argued you and just been like, that's ridiculous. And that even seems like, I probably would have even been the judgmental person that's like, that sounds like something people do when they don't want to mess up their bodies, or when they want to be vain, or they don't want to go through the pain of childbirth. It seems pretty convenient. Like, I probably would have been that person. But you never know what you are going to do or how you are going to think or feel until you've been in that situation. And in that moment, I was like, I have this one embryo left. Clearly, my body is not holding on to these pregnancies. This might be my last chance. This might be my last option. If I don't have eggs left and I'm not creating follicles that they can stimulate, this might be my last option. And I was like, let's look into it.
So we did, and we ended up having a consultation with an agency and the person that they highly suggested,
Yeah.
who was very, very sweet. Like, we had a great conversation with them.
It was a lot of information
Yeah.
to take in and how the process goes and looking at people's profiles, and you actually get to see like what they look like, what their family looks like, what their family dynamic is. They're married. Do they have children of their own? Have they been a surrogate previously? Where do they live? What are they into? All the testing they've done on them to make sure that this person's oven and that their womb is impeccable and amazing. And there's so much that goes into it. And in the moment, I was like, this is a lot of information. And I just wish I knew somebody that had personally gone through this. And at that moment, I was like, I do. I'm going to call Kim. She was so helpful. She's
By the
like,
way,
you
so gracious.
gotta call this person.
Yeah.
She connected me to her fertility lawyers and was like, this is the advice that I would give you. And I was so grateful. I was concerned about like the connection that I would have with the baby because I didn't carry it, and what is that like? And in that moment, she really just reassured me that like, Adrian, the connection that you will have with that baby, she's like, the moment that baby comes out and they put that baby, she's like, you will have that instant connection. And I actually got excited because I was like,
This is possible.
there's another way. There is another possibility for me. And at that time I felt hopeless, and this gave me a glimmer of hope.
And all hope and glimmers aside, we then took a few days, and when we talked about it, we're just like, I don't know. Like, it was.
I still was
It was
not-
not a slam dunk for
No.
us. Actually, it was not a slam dunk at all. And when we met the attorney, he said, I've never really heard of this agency, and I'm not quite sure.
I had my whole family living in my house. It was 10 of us.
Right.
And so when these conversations were happening, I remember like giving my mom a heads up, like, Mom, this is what they're saying. This is the advice I'm getting, and this is what I'm being medically advised would be best. And this would be my best shot. This is someone who's already been pregnant. They've proven that they can carry a child full term, that their womb and their uterus can carry a pregnancy. Just being honest, my mom was kind of like, why would you want someone to carry your baby?
Yeah.
Was her initial reaction. And that hurt me. And I've since talked to her about that. And obviously, you know, you grow from that. But her genuine initial reaction was, why would you do that? Who does that? Like, it seemed so foreign to her. I remember walking away from that just being like, I feel like I'm gonna be judged. I feel like it's so dumb, all the things that we put on ourselves, right?
Like anticipating what the comments are going to be, or anticipating what somebody's disappointment is going to be. And instead of just going, what is best for our family? Here's what we did, though. We did listen to some of that. We did take all that into consideration. And when we came to New York, I remember the attorney saying, there's a doctor in New York that is the one. Go to him, sit down with him, consult, maybe do another cycle and just see what you got. So you didn't feel the pressure of, we only have one embryo left. Go for round 6.
I know, they're like, keep surrogacy as an option.
Yeah.
We were getting ready to go to New York, and I was like, surrogacy, let's try to get some more eggs.
Thank you so much for joining us on our journey of faith and familia.